flower friends, it's Nicole from Flower Hill Farm, and it is the day after Mother's Day. I have a Mother's Day video to put together for you guys, but it has been absolutely insane. Such a busy about a week. Speaking of a week ago, that's when I filmed the beginning part of an outdoor tour for you guys, but things have changed so much in just that week that I decided to start all over again. It's still cold here. It's 44 degrees. I had just showered, so my hair's wet, so I'm wearing the winter hat again, but it's cold, but the next 2 or 3 nights in the 30s, and then it just jumps right up into the upper 40s and 50s at night. So this is kind of our turnabout right now. The middle of May is usually our last frost date, sometimes Memorial Day to be safe, but this is usually when the weather starts to change. Check these out. Now these are 3 tables of about 700 tomato seedlings. I have to finish staking them up and tying them up and potting them up and doing all the things because my seedling sale is coming up this weekend. So this is actually the easiest way for us to kind of harden off the tomatoes. We have 3 tables and we have the garage right there. So it takes less than 90 seconds for my husband and I to move these in and out of the garage when we need to. Like last night, the low was 36. So just to be safe, we put them inside, and together this morning at like 6 o'clock, we pulled them back out because actually it was about 40 degrees at 6 o'clock this morning. So fortunately we were able to do that before he left for work, because me trying to move these tables out here by myself, it's not a good look. I actually have flowers, my first flowers, on the tomatoes, I mean. This is one of the cherry tomato varieties that is setting flowers, and there's actually another one over there. What is that? Oh, that's a blush tomato. Yep, a blush tomato yonder in the middle there is setting fruit. I mean, not fruit, but you know, flowers. Whoa! I have stuff going on in here. This is lettuce and peas, and what else do I have in here? Cabbage? Okay, it's time to water in here. So these 2 trays here, this is actually ornamental grass. So I picked this up last minute. There's the one in the far left here is black tip wheat, and then this one in the front is a silver tip ornamental grass. So these 2, it said to direct seed outside when the soil was workable, but I wasn't sure where I was going to put these yet. So I started them in these trays, and as soon as I figure out where they're going to go, I'm going to throw them right in the ground. And the rest of these, well, there's a butter crunch lettuce, sugar snap peas, and then we have a lettuce mix, like a rocket lettuce mix, and then kale, and then over there's another thing of mammoth sugar peas. Those are for my seedling sale, if anyone wants to grab some lettuce babies. I know they're not huge, but really the peas you want to direct seed, but I had a lot of customers requesting 6 packs of peas, so I made them. So here's a look at some of the Ranunculus. The plants themselves look amazing. I'm just not getting any buds yet, but there's a lot of new growth. I feel like buds are coming. The plants just look super healthy. I'm not sure if they were just stunted by some cold weather or what, but I feel like buds are coming. The temperatures here right now are perfect for Ranunculus. We're going to be in the 40s at night and in the 50s and low 60s during the day. So I feel like it's going to happen. I mean, it needs to happen. Look how many I have here. I mean, it goes as far as the eye can see, like literally whoop, on the other side of that white netting all the way to the end there. And those ones are actually catching up faster and growing faster than these first ones. Here's a look at the last batch that I put into the ground. It seriously is just catching up to the other batch, and it looks really nice. And of course, I'm probably gonna find the first bud on the ones that I planted last. And speaking of buds, I have a ton of peony buds. This is Coral Sunset. It's probably gonna be the first one to bloom here for me. Every single plant has at least 1 bud, mostly 2, sometimes 3. I think I have one that has 4 buds. These are just the plants. They're the early blooming peonies, so they're just further along than the rest. Speaking of the rest, there are some of them. This is about half the patch over here. So they're all growing at different rates because they all have different bloom times. I have some that are early, some that are mid-early, late-early, mid-late, late-late, all the different varieties. So I have several weeks of peony blooms, but they're all looking really good. And the ones that are coming back from last year have like a ton of new growth. I would say last year, most of these only threw up 1, maybe 2 stems, and they're just throwing up so much more this year. So here's the other side of the peonies. I guess the majority of them are on that side. These are just 3 rows right here. Oh, I think, yep, just 3. So anyway, these ones are doing well. What the? Why? Why didn't you pick these? Well, a couple of reasons. I couldn't keep up with what was blooming. So this is Pink Charm, and she's very charming, but she starts out kind of yellow. If you see that one right there, you see how yellow it is, and it takes a couple of days for it to turn pink. So I've just been harvesting it after it's open, which is not what I normally do. I just couldn't keep up. She's very pretty, and I do like her, and I did use her in a ton of arrangements this weekend. This, however, is White Lion, and White Lion tells a different story. She's absolutely stunning. I love her, and I want to use her in arrangements. However, she's very, very short. Most of her stems are less than 6 inches tall, and the arrangements that I was making over the weekend for Mother's Day all had very tall stems. And the other reason that I didn't use this is because of the splatter that so much rain was causing on the blooms. They were filthy. It's extremely difficult to pick up on camera, but there are specks of dirt all over this bloom. And it was like this even when it was closed. When it was closed, I can't even believe that you can't see this on camera. Oh, it's so filthy. It's just covered in specks of dirt, and even when I was picking them closed, because of how much rain that we've had, it was just splattering all over the stems, and because it was so low to the ground, the blooms heads themselves were completely covered in dirt. So what I decided to do was to let them die back naturally, and hopefully next year they'll have much longer usable stems. Here's an update on the bare root double-decker echinacea that I planted. All of them are looking great. They mostly look like this. I've got to come in here and weed because there are some rogue strawberry plants and some grass, but all of the echinacea is coming up. So far, so good. Same story with the gooseneck loosestrife. It's coming up in all the right places. Welcome to my favorite daffodil land. This is the Sir Winston Churchill daffodil, and it is hands down my favorite. Not only is it absolutely beautiful, especially when it's in a bunch together, the aroma is hard to describe. It's intoxicating. I actually got, I know this doesn't bode well, but I actually got physically ill, a little bit sick to my stomach when delivering them last year because I had like 30 bouquets in the car. It was overwhelming, but when you have just a handful of them together, the entire house will smell amazing. Sitting on $1 million right here. Good thing we bought this last year, right? Have you seen the prices? Oh. Anyway, I'm gonna put in clips from the other day in here because there were other tulips that I had harvested. So I'm gonna show you those clips, and then I'm gonna come back and show you now what's ready. Here are the remaining tulips that I have to harvest. There are actually a lot that I have to pull tonight for my Mother's Day sale. Ooh, this double is ready. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, look at this baby. I don't even know who it is. I don't know who she is, but she's pretty. I love her. Oh, it's so bright. I love her. There's more. No smell. So these are the lily flowering tulips. You can see that the red and the yellow striped ones are the ones that are ripening the quickest. I also have a couple of purple ones, and I also have some fringed tulips that are coming into their own, and my parrot tulips, I still need to harvest all of these. Look at the whites are just something else, I'll tell you. I told you in my last video, they're my favorite. Oh, they're my favorite. They're just so big and vivacious and gorgeous. Now this netting is a deer netting. I put it over top of the tulips so that the deer and the rabbits are deterred. Even though I'm inside the deer fence, they still manage to get in here somehow. Oh, look at my shadow. Some people were asking me, well, doesn't that prevent them from growing? Well, no. When they grow, they just push. Like these ones are really tall. They just push the deer netting up. They'll just whoop, push it up, no big deal. I have to say that some of these lilies are taller than they were last year when I harvested them. So I'm really happy about the way the lilies are growing this year. Okay, so I've harvested a ton more since that video, but I wanted to show you guys because I leave one of every variety just to see what they end up looking like. And this, let me zoom in on it. This is that apricot beauty. It just colored up so beautifully. I love the way that it's got that pale peach apricot on the outside and it like maintains that pink in the middle. I've got some really cool fringe ones starting to color up, and those are ready to be picked. Lots of cool fringe ones. The red and yellow seems to be prevalent and kind of the things that bloom first in a mix. They were the first of these fringes. They were also the first of the parrots. You can see the yellows are getting ready to and coloring up. There's also some pink parrots in there. And then the yellow and reds were the first in the parrot variety. There is an appledorn. Now the appledorns, this one was completely opened yesterday, and the middle of it is black and amazing and just so beautiful. I love the fact that it closes up when it gets cooler and opens up in the sun. This is an update on the ice cream tulips. I have 2 batches. I have this batch right here, and then whoop, right behind the appledorns I have the second batch of ice cream tulips, and they are, I would say, maybe another few days before I'm ready to pull those. Okay, so maybe somebody can help me out here because I'm so sensitive to the light, guys. So sorry. It's the cloudiest day ever and I'm still like so maybe somebody can help me out here because these are some doubles and they're beautiful, and I thought maybe these ones were just taking their time and then these taller ones were just ready first. There's always a few tulips in the bunch that are ready before the rest. So yesterday I got down closer and I realized that these are squishy. There's nothing in them. Like, there's no tulip. And in fact, this one's completely transparent. So I ended up pulling the bulbs to see if there was an issue, and the bulbs are fine. There's not a whole lot of root growth there. There's more on this one, but the bulbs are perfectly fine. So I'm very confused as to what this is. I spent a lot of time researching some tulip issues when a friend of mine had some tulip disease, and I saw nothing like this. I'm gonna have to do more research. I haven't looked it up yet, but if you've ever experienced this, I mean, it's the strangest thing. It's just completely empty. There's no tulip there. It's squishy. Blech. And it's not just this batch, it's also the batch behind it. This beautiful pink tulip that I'm so excited about. Half of them are squish. We have had a lot of rain, so maybe. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting to know what the surprise tulips from Jake are, and I still don't like know the variety, but they're getting close. Okay, so here they are so far. They are some sort of fringed double. I don't know, they're kind of very cool. I'm hesitant to pull them. This one's starting to color up. This one I think is gonna be the first one ready. Today is supposed to turn into a sunny day, so maybe I'll come back later and see what that looks like, but so those are the surprise ones from Jake. Oh, if you're new here, one of my wholesalers sent me a bag of surprise tulips, and I've been waiting, like 7 months now to find out what they are. So this is where I direct sowed a lot of things, and I do see some Orlea coming up. It's very beautiful. I also put the Orlea in that I started inside, so that's on this side of the board. I put Orlea there. I need to get in here and do more weeding. My mother-in-law weeded this about 2 weeks ago, but it needs it again. And then I do have a lot of cress. The cress took off. The cress is doing great direct seeded. And I do see a lot of larkspur. The larkspur is pretty spotty though. It was old seed, so it could be that. Bupleurum. Did I get any? I honestly don't see any bupleurum. I'm not surprised. I had horrible germination on even the inside one, so I am not surprised, but I do have some to put out here. Maybe I'll do that this week sometime. I have, my list is like 50 things long. I keep adding to it, of course, every day, including videos, so hopefully I'm gonna be able to put together a bunch of videos for you guys. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about. The phlox. So here's a quick peek at the phlox that I planted with my mother-in-law, I don't know, maybe three weeks ago at least. Everything's coming up, everything looks great. Almost every spot has something. Let me swing the camera over here so you guys can see. Everything is looking good. It's also the same story with the Ranunculus. It's just harder to see on camera, but if you zoom in on the holes, you can see. Let me focus there. Focus. There, focus, how fun. I gotta come in here as well and just take out, I have a lot of wild strawberry that just comes up. So I'm gonna try and get those weeds. And they're not like even good wild strawberries. They're the ground cover ones that have like, I don't know, like smaller than a pea-sized strawberry. Great for wildlife though. It's kind of hard to see in the tangly mess of sweet peas, but here's an update on the sweet peas. They are starting to climb the trellis. And you know, they went through a lot of cold nights and I'm proud of them. I'm super proud. They look good. I mean, some of them look yellow. Some of them look a little more yellow than others, but they're definitely not dead. Surprise! So I've been busy. So busy, in fact, that I couldn't even turn the camera on. So this entire patch right here, I planted my first gladiolas of the year, and I did this a couple of weeks ago. And then you'll see these 3 beds in the background. The first bed is filled with phlox. The second bed is filled with all of my rudbeckia. And then the third bed has feverfew and snapdragons. And guys, everything is just taking to the outside really well. So here's a closer look at the beds. I'll show you guys in just a minute how I made these beds, and I did it 100% by myself, one person, and I'll show you how I did that. So these are the phlox. We start with Blushing Bride. They're all labeled. I actually just took the tape from the trays and I stuck it right on the Bio-360. So this is Bio-360. This is not plastic. This is a biodegradable film that I've been using. This is my second season using it. Last year I had critical errors. Let me pull up a chair. So last year there were critical errors made when using the Bio-360. Now, when I made the beds, I spaced them too close together, so I didn't have enough soil to cover the edges, because I'm covering the edges about 6 inches in on each side. This is a 4-foot roll of Bio-360, but my rows are 3 feet or less because I'm covering the sides to make sure the wind doesn't take it away. And that's exactly what happened last year. We had one storm come through and rip all of my Bio-360 beds out except for one. So last year, the only bed that I had that was actually successful in Bio-360 were my snapdragons and my Lisianthus, and they did fantastic in them. So good, weed-free, problem-free. It was such a relief to not have to worry about that. I ended up like losing my Gomphrena and Scabiosa in the weeds. Like, couldn't find them, had to pull around them because I have a grass issue, as most of us do. So anyway, this year I said I'm not going to make the same mistake. So I built these beds up with secure sidewalls so that the wind was not going to take these away on me. So the pathways, I would like them to be about 18 inches. Last year I did 4 inches, and that's why I didn't have enough soil on the sides, because I didn't leave myself enough of a pathway to dig the soil up and cover it. You'll see when I show you how I make the bed over here. I made it the other day on camera, and I'm gonna show you guys that in just a second. So we have the phlox, the rudbeckia, and it's just doing really well. Some of the leaves are turning a little bit purple, and that's because of the cold. It's not gonna be a problem on the plant. It will outgrow it. I just got a refund on my Lisianthus. Oh my God. So one of my trays of Lisianthus, we'll go on the porch and check them out in a second. I did order 3 trays of Lisianthus from Farmer Bailey. I got a refund of $3.33. I think they were just a few plugs short, so not a big deal. They look fantastic. I'll show you them in just a minute. Okay, wait. How many things am I going to show you guys in this video? I was going to go down and check on the Columbines and see if they're okay. Oh guys, I forgot. The stock was planted here too. Yeah, the stock. Yay! These are the wee baby snapdragons. There's a little bit left of space in this row that I'm going to throw the rest of the snapdragons, not the rest. Good God, I've got enough. More snapdragons will go there. So snappy, snappy, snappy. So this row is a little bit wider, and that was because I was rolling it by myself and it kind of took a wrong turn. But you know what? Now that I have my tripod out here, let me show you. Yeah, and my tripod opens up. This is perfect because I need space because I film a lot out here. So this is perfect to have this much space in between the rows. Okay, so let's go check out the Lisianthus on the porch, and then we'll go down into the woods and see what the hellebores and the Columbines are doing. Actually, before we check out the porch or go down the hill, let's make that bed. So I use Bio-360, which is not a plastic. It's actually a biodegradable film made out of corn, of all things. So that will last usually about 6 months, and then it starts to decompose. I found it, for me, it lasts even longer than that. We tried to till it after 6 months last year, and it was like getting caught in the tines of the tiller, and it was not really decomposing. But it is compostable, it does decompose, and that's what I use to make my beds. So I guess for you guys, I'll make a bed to show you how I do it as one person. Just me, I make these beds. Are there easier ways to do it? There sure are. Would it go faster with 2 people? Yeah. Would it go even faster with a tractor attachment? Yeah, someday. But right now, this is what I have to work with. Okay, so this first row right here took me about 10 minutes, and that's because the soil was dry and I was able to move the soil on the edges of the Bio-360 in a much quicker way. Now these next 2 rows took me about half an hour, Not only because they're longer, but it also was wet. It was raining and the soil was just heavier and it took a lot more effort. You could actually see some bits of the Bio-360 just after Brad tilled. They're still just like hanging out in the soil. It's okay. Could you make the tractor make less noise, please? Oh, I think he's done. Okay. So when you look down, you can see that the tractor or the tiller, whatever we're using, the tractor or the four-wheeler, it leaves ruts, and I want to fill those in. It's not bad, but this is not the proper rake to use. But this is the one I have handy at the time. So I like to fill these in, and like I said, it's been raining for days, so the dirt's not exactly light right now. So I might go get my other rake. It just takes an extra second to do it this way. It would take me longer to go get the rake and bring it back. My tools for this job are as follows: a rake, a shovel, a machete, I'll explain later, a 5-gallon bucket, and an apple picker. An apple picker. Seriously, I feel like this should be a strongman competition. This is a heavy roll. This, there's an apple picker through it. And I only do that because I needed something long enough to go through the Bio-360 so I can use it to roll the roll. Oh God. Okay. Gonna go right here. Okay, so I'm actually gonna move it over a little bit. So the 5-gallon bucket is gonna keep it here, and then I'm gonna roll it. And while I'm rolling it, I'm covering the sides a little at a time. I covered it, I catch my breath. I covered it with soil at the very end, and I'll do that right here, and then the machete comes into play. So the camera's only been recording for 12 minutes and 40 seconds. So that's actual time for me to make this bed. Now a tractor with the tractor attachment will make this bed in about 2 minutes. Plus it lays drip irrigation, which I'm not doing. So this is not really a machete. This is an actual Fisker's tool. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll put a link to it down below. My mom got it for me for Christmas a couple years ago, and everyone immediately ran out of the room when I opened this. But this is what I use to cut the 360. Let's just go down here. Can you see? Am I in the right spot? Okay, yeah. So I just roll it down past where I use the dirt, and then it's got this little part right here, and I just make sure it's tight. I just cut all the way down. I'm sure anything would work to do that. It's not thick, but it's fun to use this. Okay, so now that the bed is made, I'm gonna show you how I pack it in. And it's fairly simple. You literally just pack it in. And because my mama always taught me to make my bed nicely, where's Brad Pitt? Thanks, babe.
And there you have it, a perfectly well-made bed. Might it be crooked? It might. Might I care? No.
Through the porch railings, these are the Lisianthus that I purchased from Farmer Bailey. There are 3 different varieties. Okay, so those are the 3 trays that I purchased in, and I have 3 different kinds. They're all, okay, so it's a Rosa 3 red, the Celeb 1 lavender, and check this last one out, guys. Little Summer orange. So the reason I ordered Lisianthus plugs, because you guys all know I do grow them from seed, was because I had never seen an orange Lisianthus before, and in order to purchase you need to buy at least 3 trays. So I said, you know what, lavender's really cool, the red's really cool, I need that orange. So the orange is what I'm most excited about, but honestly that lavender, I'm really craving that. I want more lavender tulips because it's that color speaking to me right now. So I really like that. Anyway, so the rest of the porch, we have the rest of my plants that need to go out this week. Except for those are chives and those are part of my seedling sale. These are my personal Lisianthus that I grew. I think they're just as nice as the ones that came in the mail. I mean, they're comparable, right? And there are so many snapdragons. I'm going snap crazy, but that's okay. I absolutely cannot wait for these snapdragons. They're on my top 10 list. So let's go down the hill. So this is one of the Japanese crabapple trees that I have back here. The tag was still on it, but it looks like it disappeared in the winter time. But it's just putting on buds. What are you doing? Hi, baby. Hello. So if you remember, I planted 200 columbines, 25 hellebores, and 7 Christmas ferns down here. And I'm coming down for the first time to check on them. And I do see, oh, and there's some other things. There are wild violets, and I have trilliums down here that are blooming right now. Very excited about them. So the wild violets are this cute little purple thing, and actually people eat them and make recipes with them. But I see right here the Christmas ferns starting to grow. So it's nothing hugely exciting so far, other than the fact that they're actually pushing out ferns, and I'm looking around to where I planted the other ones, and I do see all of them coming up. So I'm super happy so far with the Christmas ferns. There is another sweet little batch of them coming up. Guys, I also think this is a wild rose. Look at this. Doesn't that look like a wild rose to you? Let me check it a little closer, see if it has like thorns. Oh, it does. It has thorns. Oh my God. There's a ton of them. The whole ground is full of them. They're all wild roses. I don't ever remember seeing this bloom. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on this because that would be amazing if this was a wild rose patch right here. I am so afraid to step back here because of everything, but here are some columbines I can see coming up that I planted. Woohoo! So I planted a ton. Oh, there's one that's coming up nicely. I remember planting it right in those trees. Are those buds? Are those buds? Oh my gosh. It has buds. I just planted this. This is a dandelion. But this is the columbine that I just planted. And there are flower buds on it. Oh my gosh, this makes me so excited. I didn't think I was gonna see any blooms off of these plants, and there are 200 of them scattered down here. And it's getting more difficult to find them. The trout lilies are beautiful in here. The trilliums are beautiful. I'm just really, really excited for how this area is gonna transform over the next few years. So many amazing plants down here. I have no, my mother-in-law planted the hellebores. I don't know where she planted them. So I don't know where to look. Okay, so I'm gonna continue exploring down here. I'm seeing columbines pop up all over the place. I can't believe that one has buds already. I'll keep you guys posted on the update of that. Thank you so much for sticking around. We'll see you soon. This is the path, right? The path that we went into to plant the rest of the ferns and stuff you guys were asking about. That all grows all down in there. So you guys were asking how I was gonna keep my Christmas ferns separated from the other ferns that are growing in here. All the other ferns are growing way down here, so I won't have any issues keeping them separate. Oh, there's cute little white flowers here. Oh my gosh, I love just exploring, and look at them. Oh, they're so cute. I wonder what they are. Here's a nice little grouping of trillium, all looking beautiful. I'll lift up one of the flowers so you can see it. Now, trillium, for a long time, are endangered, and in some places they are, and you're really not supposed to pick them. You're kind of supposed to just let them be. They're absolutely gorgeous. There are actually 39 different varieties of trillium, and they are native here. Of course, the FedEx guy's coming here. I wonder if it's my David Austin roses. Oh no, he just has his blinker on. He's not coming here. Why wouldn't he come here? Son of a